ಅನುದಿನ ಅನುಕ್ಷಣ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಕಲಿಯೋಣ, ಕಲಿಕೆಯ ಹೊಸ ಹಾದಿಯಲಿ ಜೊತೆಗೂಡಿ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ಹಾಕೋಣ, ಸಂತಸದಿ ಕಲಿಯೋಣ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ.
Yes sir. Yes teacher. Present ma'am.
Hello children, welcome you all. How are you children? Hope so you are all fit and fine. Today I will take you to the whole new world of history. Are you all ready? Yes, you are all ready. Now have a writing materials with you and sit tight. Let's go for a spectacular chapter today. Today's topic is Introduction to History. How will it be? What will it be? What are the things will be there in this chapter? Let's all uncover that today. Before we begin the class, first let's go for a small round of quiz. See, here there is an archaeological site and now you will have to identify which site is this. This is quite higher order, I know, just try for that. Did you get that? Okay, the answer is Harappan civilization site. Right now it is located at Pakistan. Okay, earlier Pakistan was also a part of India, so it was there in India, now it is not. The previous one was quite difficult, but this will be very easy for you. See, this you might have seen already. Which site is this? Can you identify this palace? See, the name of this palace is Mysore Palace, which is located in Karnataka itself. So most of you have visited there, is it not? Today in this chapter the competencies are just like this. These are the things you are going to learn in today's chapter. The first one is creation of the concept of history, and second one is know the significance of history. Why is it important for us? That thing we are going to know. And understand the role of sources in history. What role does the sources have done in our history, that we are going to learn today. Okay? And recall the contributions of Europeans to our history. The writing of our history was different and writing of Europeans was different. So that we are going to learn in today's chapter. First thing which comes to your mind is, what is history? Whenever it is a chapter of history, you are going to assume only about battles, is it not? Or only about the places, or the pride of a king, or something else. It is not. History, you know, history is a vast subject. There are many things which are associated with this. Now let's see. So before we go into learn about what is history, let's crack this puzzle first. See, here are some pictures. They are all jumbled. Okay? Now you will have to do one thing, that you will have to rearrange the jumbled pictures and it has to make a sense. For that I will give you 10 seconds. Shall we see the solution now? See, here is the deal. See, the first one is there will be a baby, the small one. Next one, he will go to a school, then he will go for a job, then he will get married, and later on he will raise a family. Finally he grows older, finally he goes to graveyard. This is the life. As like the human being's life cycle, you know, the same kind of cycle is there for a dynasty also. Normally we have seen there will be a common person. A common person will be there. Some unforeseen circumstances will lead him to be a leader. He will become a leader. He will go for different kind of battles. After the battles, his wealth will be increased. After the wealth is increased, you know, he is going to construct the palace, places and different kind of monuments, and his dynasty will be increased. Can you see this? This is the map of a dynasty, and finally the dynasty will evaporate in the past time. Okay? This is what happens. Just like a human being, a dynasty will also have a cycle in our history that we have seen in our past history, is it not? Okay. Now let's come to this. What is history? This is the basic question you will have to learn. Okay? So you know what is science, but when it comes to the matter of history, you always assume that it is a matter of some king, it is related to some dynasty and all. No, not like that. The systematic and scientific presentation of past events is called history. That does not mean that, you know, some past events will be there, that will be jumbled up like just like a picture I have shown you before, and being a historian, they are going to arrange the pictures according to the sense. That is called history. It introduces the journey of human being. The human being, the beginning of human being and the struggles he has made, and finally how did he rise to the power and what kind of dynasties has he created and what are we now. All that we are going to learn in history. Next one, failure and success of human being. So as a human being, you know, in many places we have succeeded, in many other places we have failed. So all that we are going to learn it in history. Do you understand? Now main factor which comes under history that we will have to learn. See, accuracy of time. The meaning of accuracy of time is that in this year, in this particular year, this event has taken place. That kind of things will be there. That is called history. And the place, very much important is place. Where has it taken place? The next one is person, with whom it is referred to. Which king was there? Which person was there? It need not to be a king always. Sometimes the common person also. Sometimes the group of people also. So whom does it concern to? All these things has to be there in history. Do you understand what are the main factors of history? Next, let's go for that. When the incident took place, that is important in history. Where has it taken place? Who was the main person was there and all that. These must be very clear in history. Without these clarities, whatever the clarities we have mentioned here, without that history becomes a story. Do you know the difference between story and history? Now let's crack it. See, here is the story and here is the history. What is the difference between these two? First one, we are going to learn about story. Once upon a time there was a king in place. He fought a war. See, this is the king. Okay, this is just like a story. Once upon a time there was a king, all that. How will be the history? See, the history will be just like this. Ashoka, who ruled Pataliputra in 261 BCE, fought the Kalinga war. This is called history because here we can see a king, a time and person's name, a place, everything. With the proof we are talking here. So this is considered as history and this one considered as story. Okay, story is different, history is different. Okay, do you understand? Now why we want to study history? Let's see some beautiful illustration here. Later on you can decide it. See, here is a kid. He goes near the fire. What will happen? Soon after he touches the fire, he runs away. Why is this happen? Because you know the fire, it just burnt him. That is why. Then later on, here is a kid. The same kid here, I'll call him to go and touch the fire once again. Let's see what happens. Go kid, go and touch the fire. No, he doesn't go. Why? Because he already learned that the fire is going to burn. This is called memory. First we are going to learn memory, after that recollection and then retention we are going to learn. Now what would happen if the human did not have memory at all? If the human did not have memory, what would it happen? See, the first one is he does the same mistake again and again. He would touch the fire again and again, or he would have burnt his skin again and again. It should not happen, right? So only we should have memory. The next one is the progress of human being is not possible. Okay, see, earlier he was a caveman, you know that. The ape man was a caveman. So these men, they have learned from their memory, they have learnt about the civilization. As human being needs memory for his personal things, same kind a nation is also needed memory. Why is that? That we are going to discuss in future. Okay, the next one is what can be assumed as memory? Memory itself is a history. Whatever the memory we have in past, that is considered as history. Yes, like memory, the memory serves the human to survive. If the human being want to survive, he has to have the memory. History serves as memory. Once if you learn history, that serves you as memory. Not only for you, for the society, state, nation and at the whole world. So for all of them history is needed. Why? Because history learns you the memory, memory learns you how to build up the civilization furthermore. History is record of good and wrong decisions. Our ancestors, whatever the good decision they have taken, whatever the wrong decision they have taken, all that will be recorded in history. Joyful and sorrowful experiences of our ancestors, our past people, whatever they have done, whatever the joyful things, whatever the sorrowful things, whatever they have learnt in their life, that will be studied in history. Finally, difficulties faced by our ancestors, all this we are going to learn. Do you understand now? So, the memory is very important. Why is memory important? Because we should not do the same mistake again and again. Where do we get such kind of memory? We get it in history. History is our pride and also it is our honor. See, here is two things. One is Mysore Palace is there, the other one is, Mysore Dasara is there. Both are there. So, history, it serves you as a pride also and honor also. Do you understand? So, as soon as you are going to see these things, the pride will come to your mind, a honor will come to your mind, is it not? Here, we should understand one thing. If we don't have memory, what will it happen? See, difficulties faced by our ancestor we have mentioned. What are the difficulties have they faced? See, the first one is First World War, Second World War was happened in a recent past. So, any time at any place, whenever the war is taking place, it is not for any constructive purpose. War is always destructive purpose. So, whatever the difficulties faced by our ancestor, that we should not face. So, war should not be the solution for any kind of problem. That we will learn from memory. This memory comes by history. Now, for any subject, for any discipline, there must be a father, there must be a prominent person who has done some work for that. So, who is the father of history? Do you know? See, here is the father of history. Okay. So, what is his name? His name is Herodotus. See, he is considered as father of history. Herodotus, he is from Greece, was the first to show the world how to construct the immensely valuable history. So, earlier in India, we used to construct the history in different ways, but this Herodotus, he is the first person to record the history according to time, according to place and according to person. That is very important. So, only he is considered as father of history. Do you understand? In this chapter, very important thing is that we are going to learn as sources. What are sources? The sources are those, they are very important in constructing history. Without sources, the history cannot be possible. If there is no source, there are only stories, that is just a story. It is not a history. So, the one who constructs the history, he is known as historian. Who is historian? Just like Herodotus, historian is the one who constructs the history. So, the historical evidences, they are going to pick from somewhere else. They are going to pick it from different part of that place. That is sources. The next one, there cannot be history without the sources. If sources are not there, history is not there. Okay? Do you understand what is the importance of sources now? Fine. Now, the sources of history, it is of just like this according to this flow chart. So, let us learn it one after the other properly. First one is, sources are of two types. One is literary source, the other one is archaeological source. In literary source, we have two more streams. One is written literature, the other one is oral literature. Then what is archaeological sources? The physical remains or ruins of the things used to construct in the past. Okay? These things might have used in home, or it may be used for constructing the home or whatever it is, palace or whatever. Okay? So, again in literary sources, we have different streams. What are those? In literary resource, it is further classified native literature and foreign literature. Those who are living in that particular place, if they are going to write the history of that place, they are considered as native literates. The foreign literature is the one who comes from different nation, they come to our nation, they write the history. That is known as foreign literature. So, which is important? Both are important in their own sense. Okay. The next one is oral literature. Oral literature is the one, it comprises of folk songs, stories, ballads, myths and legends, all these. See, oral literature is that it is created by illiterates, those who doesn't know reading and writing, and written literature is that those who knows how to write. So, they have constructed written literature, those who doesn't know how to read and write, they have constructed oral literature. Again, which is important? Both are important. Okay, see, written literature, this is a native literature. He is dwelling in India, who was there in India, he wrote the history, that is native literature. This, can you identify this man? Okay, he is Huan Stang, who is from China, and he wrote the history of India, so he is a foreign literature. Okay, do you understand? Next one, oral literature, just like this, ballads, stories and legends. All this, when it is comprised, this is known as written literature and oral literature. Okay. Now, the very important is that, you know, some remains, the archaeological remains that will be buried under the earth. The historians, they are going to dig the earth and they are going to collect the archaeological sources, that we call it as excavation. In this a beautiful picture, you can see that, see, something has buried under the earth and a person who is excavating that. Okay, those who are excavating such kind of things is known as historians. Okay, so now practically let us see how the excavation will be done in the field. So the things we need is these things. Sometimes the artifacts are buried under the earth, they will be there in the successive layers of the soil, and how are we going to pick it? See, it is very simple, but if we use very sharp object, we may hurt the artifacts. So we will have to use this kind of gentle brush. See, slowly, here is a piece of mud pot, we will have to aside all the soil particles slowly, and we will have to pick like this. See, without hurting, we have picked up one archaeological source, and then at the same place we can conduct the unearthing or excavation. So while excavating, see, one more part was available for the historian. See, these things are available now. These are called sources. This is called excavation. This is how the excavation will be conducted, and it is need not to be a full mud pot. Okay, the piece of mud pot, it tells the story. Okay, so once we come for the archaeological sources, the very important is scripts. Okay, see, here I can show you Kannada script. See, this is Kannada. You cannot read it. This is not a modern Kannada. This is ancient Kannada. You cannot read it as you are going to read it today. Children, let us just assume this as a inscription. There are many carvings over the inscription. So now you want to take it to home, but you cannot take the inscription to your home, is it not? It will be large. So you can take the picture and go, but still you cannot get the clear picture of it. The historians are going to do like this. See, first they are going to put the paper on that and they are going to scribble over it. See, if they keep on scribbling, they are going to get such kind of impression on the piece of paper, and later on we can write it on a piece of paper and we will get a clear picture of what they have written, just like the grammatical things and whatever the style of writing, all those we can get to know this. Okay, the next one is monuments. In that monuments, temple, palace or whatever it is. Okay, see the architecture of it and see the beauty of it, the elegance of it, and how nicely, you know, they have carved the sculptures on the stone. We can see that. The next one is coins. If we get the coins in some place, you know, it is going to say millions of stories here. Okay, so coins are very important in sources. The next one is artifacts. So artifacts are those which is used for household purpose or the toys or to embellish the home, whatever it is. To decorate the home also we are going to use artifacts. The next one is monuments. See, olden people, whatever they have constructed, all this comes under monument. And Hampi music pillar. So you might be knowing about this. See, this is the very music pillar which is located in Hampi. Okay, so you have seen all these things, is it not? Now it is a time for an activity. Now you do one thing. You might have seen such kind of coins in your home, is it not? Okay, maybe not with your home, maybe with your grandfather, grandmother, whoever it is. Please do collect such kind of coins. See, at the beginning we have discussed about one thing. The construction of history was different in India. The construction of history was far more different in European states. Okay, normally in India the history was in the form of ballads, songs, folk songs, dance and legends. But Europeans, they have written the history according to the time, according to the place and according to that particular era. This is the difference between Indians and European histories. So, it was a time of 16th century. From the Europe, Jesuit priests, these people have come from Europe and they have learned the Indians how to form the history. Before of that, we used to say only Puranas and myths here. I am not saying that Indians were wrong here, but that was the way of our constructing history. Okay? But Europeans, they have learnt us how to construct the history with the sources. Do you understand? And next one, the prominent Europeans, those who have come to India and they have made their efforts to unearth some sources or some history in India are these. See, the first one is Heinrich Roth. Heinrich Roth, who came to India and settled in Agra, which is near Delhi, you know that, translated Sanskrit grammar into Latin language about 350 years ago. See, he has done a good job, right? Okay, hats off to him. Then the father Cordaux, he identified many similarities are there between Sanskrit and European language. Is it not? The next one is some administrator. They had come from Europe and they were interested in history. So, they have constructed the history of India with the help of sources. So, which are those? As a result, many other Indian sources, many other Indian literature and culture which is introduced to Europeans. So, prominent among those are Manusmriti, Bhagavad Gita and other kind of the great literary works of India has went to Europe. Sir William Jones, he contributed for the Indian history like anything. Okay? So, he has contributed immensely for the study of Indology. What is Indology? The Europeans, those who have come here and those who have learnt about India is known as Indology. Precisely saying, Indology is that studying about the Indian history. He came to India as a Supreme Court judge of Bengal and he created one society here, the Asiatic Society in 1784 CE. See, he is great, right? Because he came from some other part but still interested in Indian history. Okay? So, he is good person. He is a multilingual expert. The multilingual expert is that he knows different languages. He translated Gita Govindam, Manava Dharma Shastra and Kalidasa Shakuntala. These stories he has translated from Sanskrit to English, so that Europeans have got to know that what is the great heritage of India. This is Max Muller. So, he is another prominent Orientalist. Orientalist is that even though he is European, he had lot of attachment towards India or eastern side. Those are called as Orientalist. Do you understand? And he is Orientalist also and Indologist also. He was a German scholar. He is from Germany. He was a German scholar and he wrote an English book related to India is Sacred Book of East. It is in 50 volumes. So, in precisely saying that is 50 books were there. The next one is James Mill. His name is James Mill. He is a historian and he is from Scotland. Scotland is a part of Great Britain. He wrote a book called History of India in 6 volumes. Children, if you can't understand what is volume, that is 6 books he has written. So, but Max Muller and James Mill, they did not visit to India. They have studied Indian history from the Europe itself, okay, and they have written the books about that. And finally, Abbé du Bois. So, Abbé du Bois is the one who came to India. He settled here at Srirangapattanam and lived like a sage of India. Local people used to call him as Dodda Swami. Okay? Swami is normally we call it as those who are sages, but he is Dodda Swami. He is Swami for all the Swamis. So, that is Dodda Swami. Abu Dubais, what has he done? He wrote Hindu manners, customs and ceremonies. He wrote about Hindu manners, customs and ceremonies, and he presented the Indian customs, values, thoughts, festivals and Varnashrama system in his work. So, he wrote about that and he lived here for 24 years and then again he went to France, and many other scholars they have contributed for Indian history. You can see them. Okay. So, in cut short we can say that Europeans they have given a great sense of history to us. Earlier, whatever I told you, it was like saying just like stories, saying just like ballads, and such kind of history was there. Only legends we used to say, and after the Europeans has entered into India, we have learnt how beautifully we can draw the Indian heritage. So, you can see this picture and you can say that how rude we are to treat our own Indian heritage. See, this is one of the monument, somewhere it is there in Mysore. See how nicely they have scribbled over it. See, is this the way to preserve our heritage? No, certainly not. This is called as ugly graffiting. You should not do like this. If anybody doing like this, you will have to inform to the police or somebody else who is authorized for punishing them. Okay? How should we keep our Indian heritage? See, just like this. Be a leader of change. First you change yourself. Okay? So, when you visit a place, you will have to look after that place very well. Let us preserve the heritage sites not only for us, for the future generation also. New words, we have learnt it throughout our chapter, all that I have explained you. The very important is, what is CE and what is BCE? Let us see that practically. What is CE? What is BCE? Normally it confuses us. See, here is the simple trick. It is like a point, this is like time. Time is nothing but year. We do not know when the time was started and we do not know when the time is going to be end. Time is two dimensional, just like this side and this side, both the side it will go. When was it started? We do not know. When will it end? We do not know. So, to understand BC and BCE, let us go for a easy test. See, this line indicates the time. So, I already told you the time is nothing but year. So, when was it started? Do not know. When will it end? Do not know. So, we should have certain point to measure what is the time today or what is the year today. So, the historian have taken certain point where the Jesus was born, and that was considered as the first year. So, since then, see, this is second year, this is third year, and this is fourth year. Easily you can see this with the help of a scale. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it goes on. And presently we are there at 2021. This is the time of today. And then what is this? We call it as CE, common era. Now, what is BCE? BCE is that we do not know when the time was started. Then see, from here the same kind of thing. This is Jesus was born 1 year before of it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like this. Do you understand now what is the CE and what is BCE? Okay. So, it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4 in a ascending order, and it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4 in descending order. Do you understand it now? CE and BCE can be understand easily with the help of two scales. See, one is 1, 2, 3, 4, it goes like this. The other one is, if you keep the scale in reverse, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, it goes in reverse direction. So, in future also we do not know when the time is going to end. In the past also we do not know when the time was started. So, the past time is considered as BCE, and present after the birth of Jesus Christ, that is considered as common era. Do you understand? Children, what have we learned from this lesson today? This lesson is introduced for young learners to protect and preserve the national heritage. A great link of history would ever be gone if we ruin a small piece of historical evidence. So, we will have to keep up every historical evidences for the future. Let us unite together to preserve the monuments. Okay, this is your home assignment. You will have to complete it and you will have to show it for your class teacher. And the final activity is that listen to the stories of your elders and write it in your own sentences. Thank you.
Anudina